Hi, it's Julie at Loves Beginning, and the idea I have to share today is one about being honest with each other. I've been encouraged very much to be honest with those around me and about any distorted thinking that's going on with me. So when I'm honest about the thoughts that are occurring to me. I'm honest about where I'm scared, or I'm honest about where I'm being judgmental. So the way those thoughts are spoken, the way I share or the way I'm honest is about my thinking. I'm clear that it's my thinking because my thinking is projecting the world I'm experiencing. So I'm just encouraged to when I can be honest, to say that, to stop and say, oh, you know what, I realize I'm really suspicious of you right now, and this is the reason, and these are the past thoughts, and this is the memory I have, and this is what's connected to that, and isn't that funny? And let's move on. I can do that with my husband a lot because I'm used to it. I've had a lot of practice. Um, Out there in the world, I still tend to think that I am playing a role and I have to maintain this role of being nice, of being a polite listener, of being friendly, of being a good mother. I still think I have something to protect. But there's just like another layer of willingness to admit to what I'm thinking and to admit that whenever I'm disturbed, it's because of my own fearful thinking. And whenever I can expose that, that's where the help is. And the stopping the role playing, stopping the pretending, like the patient listening to somebody. Meanwhile, I'm distracted by all these thoughts. If I get a chance to speak, I could speak of my fearful thinking and expose that. Um, because I think it's encouraging for people when we admit to fear, because the thing that ego doesn't want us to admit to is fear. And so the way to dissolve the thing we made ego, is by admitting to the fear and putting it in the light and allowing it to dissolve. We don't even have to work to make it dissolve. I'm told, just exposing it is so helpful. So that's not fear mongering, that's not telling fearful stories and um, telling people there's a reason to be fearful. It's exposing my own fearful thinking. Hey, look at this. I feel reluctant to do as you suggested because I'm judging you for being this way or that way. And look at that. That seems to be what's standing in the way of me doing as you requested. And just let it sit there, you know? And I can still say, now I feel like I can do it, or I still feel like that's blocking me. This judgment I'm having, this assumption I'm having about outcome is blocking me. So to be as honest as I can is what I'm encouraged to do. And then the other thing is that the image I was given about it. Oh, and also in these times when we're saying, let's be calm, let's be loving, um, very often with me, that's a facade. And so if I'm brave enough to peel back the facade and expose the discomfort that's under there, that's when I get to the true calm, or to the true lovingness. And I shouldn't be afraid to expose what seems to be fighting true calm, true peace, true joy. And the thing I'm attached to that's not my true identity, to just expose that in the light and let it go away. And if I get in the habit of doing this, I will feel more comfortable with it. If I feel more comfortable with it, other people will feel more comfortable with it. So that's just what I'm being encouraged to do, just honesty. But honesty about my thinking, not thinking I'm being honest when I'm making proclamations or saying what's wrong or judging others. I'm told that's not honesty. The only thing I can report honestly about is the thoughts that are occurring to me, and whether or not I'm believing them, and whether or not those thoughts seem to be causing me distress, happiness, whatever. That's all I can accurately report on, because the world I experience is made of the thoughts I'm believing. The other thing I was shown was this um, boulder at the top of a hill, and pushing the boulder, or just giving it bing, the first little push. And I'm told that when I'm in a situation where I'm experiencing some density, some tension, some difficulty, the only thing I have to do, well, it helps. I identify the feeling, I identify the thinking attached to the feeling. I realize I'm believing a lie. I've had a lot of practice with that. The thing that's being really emphasized for me lately is all I have to do after that point is find my willingness. I don't have to fix the situation or even fix the thinking, like find the replacement thought that's better. I'm told, I don't know, I've heard the opposite of this, but I'm told I don't have to do that part. Just find my willingness to be healed, to allow the situation to transform, to drop down into that next level of perception that's closer to the truth. And so if I just in the midst of that find my willingness to really see and experience the truth, to see the truth of everybody, to see the light in every situation, to see the light in everyone, and know how helpful everybody's being, because we're all playing roles in this healing drama and all the roles are helpful. Only have to find the willingness to be healed, to accept healing. And that just gets the ball rolling down the hill. And how the healing happens, this is what I'm told very strongly, is not my job and not my business. I'm here to stop blocking the flow of love into my experience. And I'm not in charge of the flow of love or where love goes, as I perceive myself as this, separate entity. That separate entity doesn't even have any reality. So I am not in charge of how the healing happens. I'm just supposed to allow it. So that image of you just find the willingness gets the ball rolling, and everything else is taken care of. You're done. You're done. That was very helpful to me to hear that and to be given that image. And then that also the idea that came to me is whenever there's a moment of insecurity or comparison, and if you make your primary business watching your thoughts, I think you'll find a bunch of them. I do. So anybody you find that is something-er than you, if, it doesn't matter if they're wealthier, smarter, angrier, meaner. It doesn't matter what the is. Anybody out there who seems to be something-er than you, thoughts come to you that one is something-er than you. They play such a valuable role for me in this healing drama, because they are showing me exactly where I'm still blocking the flow of love. If I'm capable of making a judgment of them, and remember, my thoughts have projected this experience I'm having. Like love is extended and the chaos of ego is projected. So if I'm able to make a judgment of them and even begin to believe it, they're playing a very helpful role for me, because they're showing me exactly where my own problem is. So if I think they're meaner than I am, and maybe there's a little relief here because next to them I get to play the role of relatively nicer one, and somebody over there is being the mean guy. That means that there are mean thoughts from ego coming into my awareness and I'm believing them. That's all that means. If I see a character in my healing drama and the character appears to be that, it means that the streaming service I've subscribed to, the ego, I'm believing the mean thoughts. Or if I think somebody I'm trying to think of the positive judgments, like wealthier than I am, or more fortunate as far as being in a stream of abundance, whether it's material abundance or spiritual abundance, that just highlights the feeling of lack, right? It's always me, what's going on with me and the thoughts I'm believing. So it just alerts me to there's this whole set of thoughts you're believing. They're all lack-based, and it's your religion. And these times that are challenging, they're all for the purpose of dismantling our religion. What I mean by a religion is our egoic attachment, our attachment to being separate and seeing separate, and evaluating and judging others as better or worse, and covering up the unity that we are. So any sort of challenging time is dedicated to and very helpful in the process of dismantling our not at all helpful religion that eclipses, covers up our unity. So if we're willing to allow every aspect of this time to dismantle that religion, that worship of the separate Julie personality, and my commitment to seeing others as separate personalities and not connected and not the light and not what they actually are, um, this can help dismantle my commitment to seeing things as they aren't. And I'm using strong language because, I'm a so-called spiritual person, and I talk about my commitment to seeing things as they aren't. Well, I have to say that because if I experience any moment of disturbance during the day, and there's never been a day that's gone by when I haven't experienced a moment of disturbance, I'm still committed. I'm still committed to seeing a world of chaos and disturbance. And what I'm told is it's just so important that I take responsibility. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I can take responsibility when I know it's not my fault. And I can take responsibility when I know there's help immediately there for me that will transform my perspective. So my owning my responsibility is so important. And I'm told that my honesty with others will really help. I don't know, do I want to say speed this up? It'll help me go by leaps and bounds. Don't pretend to be spiritual. Don't pretend to be calm. don't pretend to be joyful. If that's what I emanate because I've cleaned out my closets or allowed them to be cleaned out for me, then good. But don't smile unless there it comes, unless a smile comes through me. It'll just be given to me like a gift. That takes all the pressure off. Don't be friendly. Don't be nice. Don't be kind. I'm not telling you to be mean. I'm saying that what you are is kindness itself. And if we allow the distorted thinking to be taken from us, if we give it up, we give up our judgments and our being convinced that this world's out to get us. I mean, we built a very convincing set here of a world out to get us. So it's understandable why we're feeling this way. But now's the time to put our big girl and big boy pants on and take care of what we've done, what we seem to have done with the thoughts we've projected. We've created this fantasy land, we've made this fantasy land, this unreal fantasy land, where we, as apparently separate beings, feel very, very threatened, obviously. Look at the news. So, what was I saying that felt very freeing? You don't have to be friendly. You don't have to be kind. You don't have to be giving. You don't have to be generous. Not at all, because you are generosity itself. And it'll flow right through you like pee, right? It's got to come out. You can't really stop it like that because that's what you are. So for me, allowing the distorted thinking to be washed away just exposes the true nature of us all. And so that's what I see out there in you. And that's what I experience as myself. That's genuine. That's low pressure. It doesn't involve any acting or faking it. And it feels good. So I wish us all good feelings and learning and appreciation and gratitude for what this experience brings us. Thanks.